Okay, so hello there.
Hi.
Welcome back to this programming course lesson stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
So this lesson will kind of be focused around one of the most important concepts within programming, which are essentially variables, which are just essentially containers that you use to put information into those variables that you might need to use in the future. So first of all, given that this every programming lesson kind of has to be sort of somewhat practical for it to work, for you to learn things, let's see if you remember how to open Visual Studio Code, VS Code, and just open a project and start working on it.
Yeah.
So let's see what you do. You don't have to look anything up. You already have the application installed. Just open it, open the folder,
Which
and
one
get
is?
back to where you are.
Ah, this one. It
Does
is?
this work? No. Okay, what editing application did we use? What integrated development environment did we use last time? What's it called?
I don't remember.
Visual Studio Code.
Visual Studio Code. So I need to find it.
You don't need to find anything online. You already have it installed. It's just an application that you have on your computer.
Visual.
Visual Studio Code.
Wait. Oh, where?
Not over here. Okay, to find an application easily. Okay, first of all, you can close the windows you opened before. To easily find an application on a MacBook, one of the things you can do is by clicking Command and then Space, you can open the thing that's called a Spotlight search. From here, you can look up applications and things. So Visual Studio Code, yes, this opens up the application. Okay, so now here we've got the thing we did last time. It's not really anything important, but yeah. Let's begin with variables.
Yeah.
So the first thing you have to know about variables is that there's various different types of variables, because you can store various different kinds of information. You can store words and things, so strings of information, essentially words, text, or you can store things like numbers that can be either full numbers, integers, or decimal numbers, numbers with a decimal place. You can store also true or false, so Boolean values that are either true or false, and there's nothing in between. You can store many different kinds of information. So today I'll kind of guide you through some of these different variables that you can store and the various different things you can do with these variables.
Yeah.
So first of all, one of the most important variable types is the string, which again is the thing that allows you to store information. To essentially create a new string, the thing that you have to do is simply write a name. So for example, we can write string.
Yeah.
Essentially you need to name a variable before you actually make it. So to name a variable, you can simply, again, write the name that you want this variable to have, so variable1, for example. And writing something like this would essentially, again, give the name to the variable. Then with an equals, you can assign this to this variable a value. And then from here, you can open quotation marks and then write the thing that you want to save inside the variable. So, for example, hello world. And essentially this just tells the computer to store the information, the string of information, hello world, inside variable1. So you can try something like that. For example, over here I also have string.
Where need
over here.
to write?
What?
Where need to write? To do it.
Well, you need to just write in this program. So for example, over here you can just click enter a couple times, and you can just you can write over there what you want the computer to do. So you can just choose a name for the variable. Without a space. Without a space, you can't have spaces in here. And then just set that variable equal to something.
Variable equals something. I have.
Now, you need to set that equal to something. So you need to put, again, the name of the variable, so string or hi Stephen, you put, I think, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Then this you need to set it equal to something.
Alright.
So this is equal to, well, now we want a string, so you need to open some kind of quotation marks. These can be either just full quotation marks or simple single quotes that you can access here. And then you just need to write the thing you want to save inside the variable.
Alright.
Okay, and essentially what this does is that, again, saves this information, inside that string, that thing. So now, if you wanted to, for example, access this information, print it to the screen, how do you print something to the screen?
How do I print it?
Yeah, print it to the terminal. We did it last lesson, just briefly. It's on the screen.
It's on the screen.
Right now.
What do you need to do?
tell me how to print something, how to write something to the screen in Python.
I think here. No, I don't remember.
Yeah, essentially, there's the keyword print, which just allows you. It tells the computer to print whatever is inside the brackets onto the screen. So
Right.
if we saved inside a string some kind of text, some kind of text, from here we can essentially say print string, for example,
Print string.
or print and then the name of the variable. And
So just
what this does, open brackets,
no.
okay, and then put in the name of the variable.
So which in this one?
And what do you think will happen now if you run the code? Tell me, what do you think will be the consequence of running this code? What will happen if you run this? No. Okay, so the use of strings, the use of variables is, again, to save some information into the variable so that you don't actually have to write that information itself every time. You can simply access the variable itself. So you save a bit of information inside a box, and then instead of accessing the information itself, you can just say, hey, look at what's in that box. It's essentially what you're doing with this program. So if you want to print something on the screen, instead of actually going in here and having to write ho, ho, ho in here, instead of having to write this, which could be long, it could be problematic, and you don't necessarily know what exactly you want to print, you can simply put the name of the variable inside. So, hi, Stephen. And what this does is that it will print the contents of this variable. So, tell me again, what do you think will happen if we were to run this code?
So
Like, guide me through step by step what the program will do.
so this ho will print
Okay, so what does the first line of code do, for example?
first line.
Yes, the one that was already there.
Hello world. Print.
So, please tell me what will happen when the
What?
first line runs. Instead of hello, please explain to me eloquently in the English that I know you know what will happen when that first line of code runs.
So we print here
What prints there?
the word hello world.
Yes, exactly. Hello world will be printed on the screen. Then, what will happen? The program will run the second line of code. So what will the second line of code do?
The same one. Ho the words will print here.
This second line of code,
Yeah.
hi Stephen is equal to ho ho ho. What will it do?
Alright. Like we print the word ho.
No, the second line of code doesn't print anything. The second line of code just tells the computer to save the information ho ho ho, the string ho ho ho, inside of this object variable box called hi Stephen. That's what the second line of code does. Do you understand?
Alright. Yeah.
Okay, what does the third line of code do?
You just print the first one,
It prints what?
the hello words, and the hi Stephen.
What's printed on the screen in the third line of code?
Hi Stephen.
Okay, why? Okay. Well, not exactly. Not the words "Hi Stephen" won't appear on the screen, right?
Yeah, the word ho ho.
Yes, which is inside "Hi Stephen."
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So, do we understand the basic concepts of
Alright. Yeah.
variables?
Basically.
Okay.
Kind of.
So now you could try and run it. For example, do you remember how to run a piece of code? How to debug a piece of code?
But how?
First
I
of all, you
don't
have to save it. So Command S to save.
Command S.
Then once this code is saved, you can go into the debug window. So this sign here, run and debug.
Or-
And then from there you click the small green button up at the top, and this runs the code. And if you look at this, hello world, and then ho 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 are printed on the screen. Fantastic. Now, another useful thing that you can do with variables,
Alright.
like I said, there's various different types of variables. There's strings, which contain text. There's integers, which contain integer numbers. There's floats, floating point digits, floating point numbers, which contain decimals, and those kinds of things. Now, how can you see what kind of type a variable is? So what type of variable you're dealing with? Well, there's a method, there's a thing, there's a keyword inside Python that does that for you. This keyword would be type. So again, if you wanted to access the type of a variable, as shown over here, you can simply print on the screen, or just to access the type of the variable, you can simply write type, then open brackets, put in the name of the variable, and then close the brackets. And this will just tell the computer to look at what type of variable the variable inside the brackets is, and then to print this on the screen again, just write print first. So try and find the type of hi Stephen.
Like this.
Okay, what will this do? Like you want to print the type of variable that hi Stephen is on the screen. So how do you do that?
Common S. No.
What?
Common S.
Yeah, that saves the code. But you want to print this on the screen. So how do you print it on the screen? Click it again to open it. No, that's the wrong button. This button. This button up here.
Yeah.
Fantastic. If you want to run the code, you can try and run the code, but this... We want to print this on the screen. How do you print something on the screen?
The common S, right?
No, Command S saves the file. You want to print it on the screen.
Right. I need to put print, then type. Like this.
Well, type of what? Like just print type. What does that mean, print type?
Type this one, the force.
No, you're not. Type isn't a variable in this case. Type is simply a thing that you're telling the computer to do. Like, hi Stephen is just a variable. It's a box in which you put something. Type of hi Stephen is just kind of asking the program to look at that box and tell you what kind of object is in that box.
Alright. So I need to.
So you're not really
hi.
assigning anything to anything. Type isn't something you can print itself. It's an operation you can do to something.
No.
Like if you add two numbers together, you can't just add in general. Add isn't a thing. It's something that you do to two numbers.
Like this? No.
Well, what do you think print hi Stephen will do?
What I need to do then?
You need to print the type of variable that hi Stephen is. So this thing over here, the thing you've written in the fourth line, essentially tells you what type of variable hi Stephen is. Then you have to print that. So how do you print that?
I need to put variable 4, right? The
Variable 4.
The fourth one.
You need to put the fourth line of code inside a print statement, right?
So what I need to write?
Well, again, print.
Yeah.
This print statement takes a parameter. You essentially give this print statement something inside these brackets, and the print statement just puts on the screen whatever's inside these brackets. So if you want to print or put on the screen the type hi Stephen, you need to put inside the brackets the thing that you want to print. So the type of hi Stephen. So if you move this inside these brackets, you're essentially telling the computer to print the type of variable that hi Stephen is. So now, run it, save it and run it.
Right. 10.
It's already, the window was already open. No, wrong window. Yes, right window. Click the small green button.
Alright.
And here it says class string. So essentially this tells you that the variable that you just printed on the screen is a string.
Alright.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Now, given that I don't think we'll have time to do all of this, let's move on to another variable type.
Alright.
So what other kinds of information and variables do we have that I talked to you about before? Well, we have, for example, numbers, so integers, numbers.
Alright.
Yeah, let's start with full numbers, so integers. Now, to save an integer to a variable, again, the thing you have to do is just name the variable, so you need to give a name to the thing you are saving, and then put that equal to simply a number. So like 72 if you wanted to save 72, or 54 if you wanted to save 54, just any number. So, for example, try and set up a variable which contains inside of it the integer 10.
Integer type. So then
Well, how did we name a variable before, prior? Like, what other variable have we named over here?
hi Steven.
Okay, so how did we do that?
So we need to create another one, the new one.
Yes.
Then like this.
How do
A
we
number.
How do we name the first variable? What do we do? Like, what's the syntax? How do we do it the first time?
are the quotes. The
No, not the quotes. Is
The-
equal to.
The equal, then quotes, right?
Well, no. Quotes are used only if you actually want to name a string.
Alright.
Because, again, essentially, the way you name a variable is that you just put the name of the variable. This is just the name that you want to give to the variable, the name that you will use in future to access that same variable.
Yeah.
Then you put an equal sign, which just says, put inside of this thing the stuff that's after the equal sign, and then based on what is after the equal sign, the type of the variable would change. So if you want to save an integer, so a number, after the equal sign you will have to put a number, right? So go ahead.
So there's a number 10. Like
Okay.
this. Yeah.
And now,
Then,
what is this then? What have you told the computer to do on that fifth line?
like what? What I need to do?
Like, tell me what this fifth line does from the computer's
So
point of view.
it's the variable that contain the number 10. Right.
Well, you're naming a variable. You're
Yeah.
defining a new variable called
Yeah.
hi, which is equal to the number 10. It's an integer variable which is equal to the number 10. Okay, fantastic. So now, what if I wanted to print this variable on the screen?
So
Print the contents of hi on the screen.
Okay. So print the bracket and the hi.
And what if I wanted to print the type of the variable?
The type you need to copy and paste the move this part to into the bracket.
Okay, yeah, I guess.
So I need to move all this to the bracket.
Well, what do you need to move? Sorry.
The old variable, the equal sense, also. No.
What?
Oh, so just hi I need.
Hi is the name of the variable. When you want to reference to the contents of the variable, you need the name. Like when I talk to you, I don't just. The equals 10 is simply the contents of the variable. It's the thing you are saving in the variable. You're just saying, hey, computer, make this box, create this new box, call it hi, and put inside a 10. Then, in the future, what this does is that it allows you to say, hey, computer, look at the contents of hi. You don't need to tell it, look at the contents of the hi, which are 10. The contents of the hi is what you need to look at. So over here, you're telling it what to put inside that box. And then over here is saying, hey, print whatever is inside that box.
Okay.
Okay, do you understand me?
Yeah.
I don't trust you. Okay, so another interesting thing. Okay, yeah, I guess another interesting thing you can do with variables, though it's just any variable. Well, again, to have different variables, you have to have different names of the variable, obviously, because if you had the same name, then the computer wouldn't be able to differentiate between them. But a cool thing you can do with a variable is change the contents of the variable. So if you said, oh, let's put hi equal to 10. If then you wanted to change hi to another number, you could very easily do that simply in the same exact way that you did in the same exact way in which you set the first the variable to a value the first time. So try and change the value of hi over to some other number, let's say 5.
Here.
No.
Here.
You want to put hi to 10, then print it on the screen, then change its value to some other number. So you've already put it to 10, and you've already printed it on the screen. So how do you change its value to another number?
Create equal, then change the number.
Just choose another number. Okay, fantastic. And now this will just change its value to another number. Another interesting thing you can do with these variables is that, well, what if you didn't really know the contents of the variable, but you just wanted to subtract 1? Let's say you wanted to do something like that. So let's say I don't know that my hi is equal to 5 right now, and I just wanted to remove 1 and print whatever's on the screen. How can you do that? Well, there's a relatively useful thing. Well, essentially, what we're trying to do is, let's say hi is set equal to 5. What we're trying to do is say that we want hi to be equal to itself, so hi minus 1, right?
Yeah.
This is our final objective. Well, a simpler way to do this is, a more rapid way, is to simply write hi is minus equal to 1. And this will simply say, this will simply take whatever is inside hi 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 and subtract 1. Okay, do you understand? Do you understand?
Yeah. Understand.
Okay, so what if you
Minus
wanted
1.
to again subtract 1 from hi hi hi?
So
From whatever the content of hi 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 is?
So I need to put hi equals minus, right? Minus.
Well, what do you think that will do? Like, let's reason together on what that will do. What you think that will do. Don't change it. Tell me what you think that will do. So you said hi 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 is equal to -1. What will that do?
The 5 will minus 1.
What?
The 5 will minus 1.
Firewall -1.
Yeah, the 5.
So we'll subtract 1 from 5, you think?
Yeah.
But aren't you just saying hi 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 needs to be equal to the number -1?
So
So that will just put hi 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 equal to -1, wouldn't it?
hi equal to -1.
Yeah.
And then what?
You want it equal to 5 minus 1.
So I need to
Or
put 5
actually,
minus.
actually the value of hi hi hi, which in this case is 5, but you don't know it, -1. So how do you access the value of hi hi hi? How do you tell the computer to look at the values?
So like.
Okay, well, we're doing it now the faster way, let's say. But let's assume... Let's just do it the long-winded way, first of all, just for formality. How do you tell the computer to access the value inside hi hi hi? Well, we've done it up here in the print statements. We've done it here in the type statements.
Alright, so I need to open the bracket.
No, you don't need to open brackets. How do you tell the computer to look at what is inside that variable?
Need to print it.
No, to look at what's inside it. Just hey, computer, access that thing inside the variable.
Copy and paste. Then move.
No.
Move.
The entire use of variables is to allow the computer to look at what's inside that box without actually needing to know what's in the box before. And the way you do it is to simply put the name. So hi 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 is equal to hi 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 minus 1. Do you understand what this does? What does it do? Tell me what that statement does.
So hi equals 5. So 5 is minus 1.
Well, not
Yeah.
exactly. Yes, but what if hi 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 was 7? What would this line do?
The 7 minus 1.
Yeah, this line is just saying, hey, computer, look into that box, take the value inside hi hi hi, take 1 away, and then put that same value inside hi 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 again. So again, you're just taking the box of hi hi hi, you're opening it up, the computer is taking out whatever is inside, subtracting 1, and putting it right back in. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So you're accessing the variable, you're saying, get the thing that is in there, then you're subtracting 1, and you're putting this into hi 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 itself. Okay?
So what's the next step? Sorry.
Well, what do you want to do? What do you mean the next step? This is a program, you can do whatever you want. What's your objective here?
So I just. Wait, sorry.
What do you want to do?
And how to find the values of the number of hi.
Do you want to print it on the screen?
Yeah.
Well, how do you... what do you think is the best way to print something like this?
I don't know. Like print, open the bracket, and put hi.
Okay, maybe. Try and run it.
Alright, it's 4. It's 1, right?
Well, again, what do you think? Okay, so now that we've done this, please guide me through this entire program. Tell me what you're telling the computer to do in each and every line of this program.
What?
Tell me what you're telling the computer to do in each and every line of this program. Guide me through what is happening.
I mean, what?
In line 1, what are you telling the computer to do in the first line of code?
The print the word hello world.
Okay, then second line. After having printed hello world,
So
what does the
create
computer
a
do?
kind of folder that contains the word of ho,
Okay, then.
and then print the stuff that contain the variable of ho.
Okay, then.
Then print all of this. Oh, right. What's the first one? So it's print the third one, right?
The fourth line of code.
The fourth line.
Like print type hi Steven. What is it doing?
What was it? type have still. So it contains the words ho ho. No, I don't remember.
Well,
that.
Hi Stephen contains the words ho ho ho, yes,
Yeah.
in this case.
And then what?
But what are you doing in the fourth line?
I printed.
You're printing the type of variable that the Hi Stephen is. So what are you printing actually?
So I actually printed the words ho ho.
No. You printed the words ho 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 in the third line.
I
Okay.
print the hello words and ho ho.
Okay, let me guide you through this program. So essentially, the thing you're doing here. So the first line just tells the computer, "Hey, computer, print this string," and the string that you're giving to the computer is hello world. So, "Hey, computer, print hello world," and it's just doing that. Then you're telling the computer, "Hey, computer, make this new variable, this new box, and put inside it the value, the string ho ho ho," and the computer does that. Then you're telling it, "Hey, now print whatever you put inside that box." And so the computer just looks at what's in the box, it finds ho ho ho, and it prints ho ho ho. Then you're telling the computer, in the fourth line, the one that interests us, "Hey computer, print not what's inside the box, but what kind of information is inside the box." So what type of variable is that Hi Stephen in this case? So the computer looks at Hi Stephen, it notices that Hi Stephen contains a string of information, so some text completed, surrounded by quotes, and thus it prints that, scroll down in the thingy, it prints that the class of this variable is a string. Then, what else happens after the fourth line?
After the fourth line,
Yeah, on the fifth line, what are you doing?
create another things with another variable with number.
Okay, then?
Then printed the number,
The contents of the
the
variable.
contents of variable.
Okay, then?
Then we change the contents of variable.
Okay, then?
Then we subtract the contents of variable, so it's fives. The high that contains fives minus 1.
Okay, so
Then
essentially you're
print
changing
it.
the variable again, reducing it by 1, reducing the value by 1.
Yes, and then printed the result.
Okay, and what if I wanted to look at what kind of variable is hi hi hi? What's the type of that variable? How could I look at the type of that variable? How can I print the type of variable that hi 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 is on the screen?
So I need to print. Okay, sorry.
You're not writing.
So print, and then so sorry, what? Sorry,
I want
the
to
type
print
of.
the kind of variable that hi 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 is. Wait, its type.
So move this here.
Okay, and what will this do? What will be the output of this line? What will be printed on the screen?
We printed the thing that is contained in the variable. So the things in bracket like this.
Okay, and what type of variable is that?
The string that was
Hi hi hi. What is it?
hi, the result of number. The result.
No, I mean hi hi hi. What is the type of variable that hi 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 is?
The type.
Yes. Is it a string?
No, it's a number.
Okay, so it's an integer in this case.
Integer, alright.
Yes.
Sì, bene.
So this would print on the screen class int as an abbreviation of integer. Finally, and as you see, class int.
Oh, alright.
Now finally, let's look at one third and still quite important variable type. This variable type is called a boolean, which is essentially just a true or false statement. It's a value that can either be true, true, or false. Okay.
That's
So
true or
again,
false.
to assign this boolean, how do you think you would assign? How do you think you could assign a boolean value to a variable?
I don't know.
How do you think it might work? Just
A
try and
true,
guess.
false
Well,
stuff. No. Okay.
okay. Well, that's just the statement truth. Well, again, we need a variable to assign this to. So, how would you assign the value true to a variable? How do you think you would do that?
Like create another variable.
Okay, go ahead. Okay. Then, how do you assign a value to that new variable? No.
Okay. The equal
Okay.
and the quotes.
Well, no, you want it to be true, to assign it the statement true. A quote would just make it a string, wouldn't it? You need a boolean in this case. So to do this, you simply need to write the word true. So if you write the word true like this, what you're saying is cat is set to the boolean value of true. Otherwise, you could write you would have had to write the word false, and then that would have set cat to false. Now then, let's try and print this to the screen. How would you print cat? And what would that print to the screen? What do you think it would print?
True.
Yes, exactly. And how would you print its variable type to the screen?
Put types, then the brackets.
And the variable.
And the
Okay,
variable.
good, excellent, fantastic. So I would have liked to do a bit more stuff, but we can be done now. So okay, yes, great lesson, fantastic. I hope you learned something,
Yeah.
and see you next time.
See you next time.